Hello BookTube, this is my December reading plan. I'm going to be devoting this December to Belle Redemptions. Belle Redemption is my term for giving a second, and sometimes, not infrequently, more looks at a book that I have previously bailed on, which is my term for did not finish or DNF. So I have scoured my bail list from my yearly reading list, and I have pulled two ridiculous piles of books that I would like to bail redeem, although there is no way in hell I will be able to bail redeem all of them. But my watchword for this month is going to be just let it go. If I manage to bail redeem one of these books or many of these books, that will be great. And if I continue to bail on them, that's okay. Just the next time I get around to culling my library, these books should be on the go pile or the go boxes. So I was initially going to just focus on fiction, but I've since expanded it out to include poetry, drama, and nonfiction. So let's go, because I do have two piles of books to go through. So starting with fiction, the first three are all connected. So first up is Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. This is a 20th century classic. It's about an upper class politician's wife named Clarissa Dalloway, who over the course of a day is preparing for a party, and multiple side plots spew out from there. I read this many years ago, about 20 years ago, and I remember it fondly. But when I gave it another go this past September, it didn't go so well at all, and I bailed on it. Now, part of rereading Mrs. Dalloway was a prompt from this past year's Shorty September, which is also why I was going to reread The Hours by Michael Cunningham after an even longer period of time. So this novel is in part a retelling of Mrs. Dalloway, but also features Virginia Woolf as a character as well. And so these two books are connected. And I did not bail on The Hours. This would count as a reread. And since you're bail redeeming Mrs. Dalloway, I'm adding The Hours too. Also connected to Virginia Woolf is Theory and Practice by Michelle de Krester. This is a novel about a Sri Lankan Australian student who is doing a thesis on Virginia Woolf when the main character discovers a racist passage in Virginia Woolf's diary that shatters the main character's image of Virginia Woolf and makes her question everything. So this book, alongside the other two, were part of that prompt from September, and this one I did try to read a little bit later and bailed on, so this counts as bail redemption. So these three are something of a package deal. Next is My Name is Red by Orhan Pamuk. This is a historical novel set in Istanbul dealing with miniature painting for the Sultan. I have tried this book twice and have failed each time. Next is Perfection by Vincenzo Latronico. So this is a novel about two people who live in Berlin and make a living off of doing online gig jobs. Uh, Tried it a few months ago and did not get on with it. I think it was actually in October. Yeah, it was like part of the October massacre. Next is The Natural by Bernard Malamud. This is about a baseball player who is getting a second chance at the majors. I tried it in August and failed at it. The Way We Live Now by Anthony Trollope. This is a novel about a seemingly wealthy financier who is actually a con man. And I've tried it twice, most recently for Victober, which was going to be Dickens versus Trollope, and didn't work out at all. Next is Open Heaven by Sean Hewitt. This is a novel about a middle-aged gay man who is returning to his hometown or home village after many years away, who is reminiscing about his not quite halcyon, but I think he's making it his halcyon adolescence and his first love or first crush with another young man. Next is A Brief History of Seven Killings by Marlon James. This is a historical novel set mostly in Jamaica in the 1970s, but extending into the early 1990s, and in part features gang violence in Jamaica during the period, as well as an attempted assassination of Bob Marley. I've tried that novel 3 times and have not succeeded. Next is The Recent East by Thomas Grattan. This is about an East German woman who has immigrated to the United States, who, as the Berlin Wall falls and Germany is reunited, decides to move back to Germany with her 2 children, who begin to come of age in a newly reunited Germany. Next is Paris Stories by Mavis Gallant. This is a collection of short fiction from Mavis Gallant. I managed to read the first story and didn't care for it much, and then build on many of the other stories. So I'm going to give those other stories a second look. Hopefully. Because I don't think I'm going to get to as many of these as I hope I do. And next, finally for the fiction, is Bleak House by Charles Dickens, which is about a long-running inheritance dispute and how this dispute sort of cycles into the lives of various characters. I read this novel not quite 20 years ago and remember it quite fondly, but giving a reread attempt for this October as part of Dickens versus Trollope didn't go well at all. So, moving on to the poetry. First up is Etudes by Friederike Mayrocker. I've had 2 goes at this and have failed each time. Hopefully this time will be different. And I have given 2 shots already this year for Homeland of My Body by Richard Blanco. Maybe I'll get it on the 3rd attempt this year. For drama, I'm going to have another go at A Raisin in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry. This is about an African-American family in Chicago who are expecting that the former patriarch of the family's life insurance policy will change their lives for the better, and how it doesn't quite go the way they hope it does. Next is Ma Rainey's Black Bottom by August Wilson. This is a play set in the 1920s about African American singer and the trouble she's having with her band. And finally, for the drama, I'm going to give another look to The Skin of Our Teeth by Thornton Wilder. This is a really, really weird play, and enough said about that. Now, on to the non-fiction. Inventing the Renaissance by Ada Palmer. This is a big re-examination of what we call the Renaissance. I have given this book 2 attempts already this year. The first time I didn't make it too far. The second time I made it much further. I made it into the deep into the first part before I bailed on it again. But I'm thinking seriously about having a third attempt at this. I'm going to start from where I bailed the last time rather than starting over. And hopefully I will manage to finish the book this time. I'm also wanting to give another look to Weavers, Scribes, and Kings by Amanda H. Podany. This is a history of the ancient Near East. I read this, so this was a reread attempt. And I don't know why, but I wasn't feeling the book when I attempted to reread it earlier this year. And hopefully I can correct that at the end of the year. And if not, maybe I can try it again at the beginning of next year. And finally, I would like to have another go at The Golden Road by William Dalrymple. This is a history of India and India's central place in ancient trade routes. I gave this book a few goes this year and didn't succeed either time. So I want to give it another go and see if, okay, maybe whatever it is I can get past it, or if William Dalrymple is just not for me. We shall see. So that is my impossible December reading plan. I am going to reserve the right to either change things up if things don't go well, or if I am definitely in the mood for manga. I'm already planning to read the November manga volumes that I just hauled this coming Saturday, not this weekend, the final 2 days in November. Those are going to be devoted, Okay, so this coming weekend, so this tomorrow and Sunday are going to be devoted to the October manga haul. And then the first Saturday in December will be devoted to the November manga haul. And then if I feel the urge for more manga, I can always return to One Piece as needed over the weekends. But I'm hoping I can get as many of these books bail redeemed as I can. But we shall see. So anyway, BookTube, I will be back this evening with weekly reads. So until then, thank you, have a great afternoon, and stay safe.